propose to the council.
We'll give you one more treat.
And then at the next, then that gives us some time to review it, etc., and see what we would like to come back with to see changed individually. And then we put them all together, and there we are.
I'm just a little leery that if the question of does it trigger repayment, that there isn't some hidden agenda between this whole thing that they need to ensure that it doesn't, because suddenly this whole thing is gonna shift out of Rushford, and I wanna hear it from Swanbeck. He should be here to explain some of the terms of this agreement. I mean, I don't mean for him to give away the secret.
The agreement isn't drafted, I'm assuming they're just outlining.
They're just
what they
exploring.
want to do. Yeah.
They realize the policy requires these things to happen, and they're concerned. And if they go ahead and do these things, they don't want to suddenly find out they owe 100% of something they thought they only owed 10%. So that was their initial question. Will this cause us any issues? And that's as simple as it was. They weren't asking us to prove anything. They were just saying, could you interpret your policy to see if it's going to cause us an issue? Well, it depends on what really is going to happen. And as he dug deeper, it appeared, yeah, it could be 100%. Well, that wouldn't be fair to the elevator or to the people that are here, because you know they thought they had this, and now all of a sudden we've cast them into this. And obviously, the next question will be, if it does, then we're going to say, is there anything we can do to mitigate that, to keep our 10%, and you know, and
Well,
we're going to get the same question from other people that want to retire.
They are dealing with the bottom line.
Absolutely.
This is what you as a co-op member are gonna make if we do this, but if we have to repay the money,
It's huge.
you know, that's a big difference, because we're talking, what, a couple $1 million here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I
I just,
And they
I just think that if you, when you sell something, you have to pay for what you've got. But you know, while I stand firm on that, I also believe that if this other company can agree to what we have given them, I don't see the issue. But if the issue is that they wanna duck out, they wanna pull the strings and get out of here and just use this as a dumping station and no jobs, well then I think we should look at getting our money back.
Could you share with me as to what page that what we're discussing here is on in this policy? So that,
Is this the same thing?
Yeah.
Page 3 has category 1 loan provision that talks about forgivable.
Well, part of the documents that we're using too, the loan documents, I would assume.
Yeah, those loan documents were based upon this policy, though. I'm sure that they were drafted off of the policy, but, you know, if you look at, say, on page 3 of 16, at the bottom, loan provisions by category, category 1 loan provision. Forgivable loan term, 10 years, with the first 100,000 forgiven at the end of year 5. The balance declining by 20% per year, and totally forgiven after 10.
right,
So that's incorporated into the loan agreement.
but then you go on to page 11 of 16, repayment of state disaster assistance funds. And then 25%, but it doesn't say anything if the business is sold, merged, etc. There's nothing in.
I think later on in clarifying, what do we call those things, administrative procedures,
Okay.
whatever they've been sent in, there's a ton of them, I think, you know, as questions would come up, how do you do this, how do you do that? I think those things do show up in there.
The other thing, I think if you're on page 11, you're talking about repayment of state disaster assistance funds.
Yeah.
That's from the city to the state. Does the city have to pay the state back on any of the funds?
All right.
Well, no. When you look at all of them. Although, on the category 2, the normal MIF allocation on flood funds, 20% is retained by the city and 80% is returned to the state. So if there are any of those, and I'm not sure that there are on the MIF. Okay, so that's what that goes into.
Page 8 of 16 has loan assumability.
Any other-
policy.
Age of 16 has loan assumability.
Right, at the bottom.
I know we put that in there, it seemed to me that the newspaper office was one of the first ones to bring that up. What if I wanna retire, as long as you retire and give it, it goes back into their newspaper office with jobs, this is a flow, just tell them that, gotta be here, cause I'm liable for this if you leave.
Well, it's the same with the housing. The point was to get the house built. So who owns that house doesn't really matter. The house is still here.
Yeah, I'll just put a sketch later.
But they have those provisions in some of these housing deals too, where it's the other way, all of it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if the house is still there and you're not taking it with you when you leave, no matter who owns it, the house is there, and that was the point of the program, was to get the house built.
Well, unless you want us to do anything, we have a policy and we're comfortable with that, we'll just interpret it that way, but we're trying to just point out that maybe it might be having negative consequences for us, and we need to look at that sort of to see if it is, and we don't know.
Well, we don't want to stand in the way of the elevator being able to expand, but on the other hand, we want what we're entitled to for the help that we gave them.
Had we not given them the money, they would have borrowed it and still had to repay it.
Correct.
And, that's probably correct. Maybe they wouldn't have borrowed as much, maybe they would have shrunk their operation at that time, maybe they would have looked at selling at that time, just to get out of it what they could, and, we assumed that they would have borrowed it and kept the business going, and, the same way it was pre-flood, but I guess we never really know, that's,
I think we're gonna have to wait until we see that something's gonna happen. Whether it's a merger or whether it's a sale or whatever it might be.
and maybe that's what it takes, is one of these businesses, whether it be the newspaper or Dolls or Farmers Co-op Elevator, actually doing that, and then implementing a broader policy to allow that to happen with other businesses. Maybe.
I think that case by case is necessary simply because one business might be talking about $50,000, but on this one you're talking millions of dollars. And it certainly brings up a lot more question here than it does over here. For the sheer amount of dollars. It's not something you walk away from or want to change policy just for them because it's going to set precedent.
Okay,
That's it,